about 8:29 p.m. on the morning show. I want to go home. Anyways, guys, welcome back. It's the AM Club on MX24 TV. We are home to fun, factual and fearless programming. My name is Godwin Nambo. It's time for Lifestyle Daily. It's time to celebrate the bedrock, I dare say the bedrock of every economy, entrepreneurs, and to be specific, MSMEs, micro, small, medium-sized enterprises. It's MSMEs Day today on the 27th of June every year. The world celebrates and throws more awareness on MSMEs and the impacts they have on the global economy. I'm super excited. I've been sandwiched by two beautiful young entrepreneurs as well. And then we'll have Nanama. We start with Nanama, who will be joining us via Zoom, or has joined us via Zoom, I must say. Margaret Nanama Ejikum, she's the CEO of the Ghanaian Bar. Margaret, good morning. Are you there? Oh, there she is.
I'm here. Good morning.
Wonderful. Good to have you.
And nice having me on your show too. It's quite early, but we need to do this, right?
It's very, very important. You business people are very early people. Wilhelmina Sapor is CEO for Easy Grab GH. Wilhelmina, good morning. Good morning. And then, of course, she's not new to the AM Club at all. Tanisha Tego, she runs the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club. Good morning to you, too.
Thank you. Good morning.
Shall I start off with the
entrepreneur?
What do you do? Easy Grab GH, what do you do?
Well, Easy Grab GH, we provide 13 services and all.
13?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
We are into event catering, event setup. That's more of decorations for events. We have saxophone surprises.
What's that again?
Saxophone.
What's that?
Saxophone.
Okay.
And then we have customized gifts.
Oh, so when it's somebody, even Sonisha's birthday, and I want to surprise, I can call you.
Yes.
And then you do the pop.
And the gifts.
Where's the Yes, and the gifts.
So okay. More of a surprise planner.
Okay.
Yes. And we do cakes, finger foods, a whole lot.
That's a lot to run. Well done, Amina.
Thank you so much.
Nanama, you run the Ghanaian Bar. Tell me about it, please.
It's basically a brand that provides, our indigenous Ghanaian local drinks and snacks, like the Asana, the Sobolo, the Lamujin, palm wine. And it's for events, basically for both social and then corporate events. But I started way back on campus when I was in tertiary. For those kind of hall kind of thing. And then after school, trying to secure a job for myself was quite tough. So I just thought, why not leverage this to another level where I can probably benefit from and also educate people more about the kind of things we have, like the local snacks and this, because people enjoy them. Because for a very long time, people don't get to see them on a regular, probably in traffic or anything. So when they probably see them at events, they sort of jam to it and they enjoy having it. So basically, that's what we do. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I'll come back to Wilhelmina because I remember back in school, Tanisha, we were told before we finish school, they'll tell you it's not about somebody giving you a job, it's about you starting a job. You hear all the motivational speaking, the pastors telling us that you can do it, start something, don't wait to be employed and all that. It's not easy. It's not easy. And for you guys who are doing it, we celebrate you. It's amazing. How did you start?
Okay, so I actually started way back on campus, level 200. I started as second home foods. I used to produce storage soup and stew for my colleagues way back on campus. And then I started to add food because most of them really enjoyed my food. So I started with my mates way back on campus.
What do you think they will buy? Soups, stews. Yes, I remember on campus, Charlie, if your mother doesn't send you anything,
exactly.
or you don't go home for some, you starve.
The time
and it's expensive to buy food on campus too, right?
Exactly. So they buy them weekly and they just store it. So I know during weekends I'm going to produce for this number of people. Then that's how it started. So I think in my third year, already we were doing cakes.
Okay.
So in my
third
year,
cakes on campus?
No. My sister was actually doing, so it was off campus. So when I take the orders, I'll send it to her. She'll do it, and I resell. I had something small, then I resell. So later we had a family discussion. I was like, oh, why don't we modify the whole thing, add other services, and then give it a different name altogether. So my big sister came up with the name Easy Grab, and then that's how it all started. So I started Easy Grab way back on campus, UPSA level 300. So this coming Thursday will be our 3rd anniversary.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yes, please.
Well done. Come on.
So that's how Easy Grab came about, and then we started adding other services every month. And finally, we are here today.
Well done,
it hasn't
Amina.
been easy, but
Well done.
We'll talk about the challenges. But and let me come to you, Tanisha. And at the risk of sounding, or rather, just so we don't sound stereotypical, because I'll describe what you do and what Anama does as catering services, isn't it? And I don't want to think that you run the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club.
Yeah.
So I don't want to think that almost every lady running a business is doing catering.
No.
You've met a few people.
Exactly.
What are most ladies into? Entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs?
To be honest, they're into what makes them happy and makes and fulfills needs usually. And I find that because we have entrepreneurs across 18 countries, so coming to Ghana was very interesting for me. In Ghana, I would say we have a lot of survival and accidental entrepreneurs. So like, you're an accidental entrepreneur. Your sister's kind of doing cakes, you're kind of adding on top, etc., etc. And then the market validates it. So usually female entrepreneurs in Ghana go into markets that are validated by the active customers that they have, not usually out of passion. Because if you were waiting for your passion, you might have done dresses, because look how lovely you look in a dress, right? But because the market is saying to her, okay, I want more, I want more, I want more, you had to sit down and have a meeting and say, do we go somewhere else, or do we just give the people what they want and make more money? So there is no particular industry. However, throughout the pandemic, it was mostly female-owned businesses that kept us alive.
Yeah.
So that does prove that there is a lot in terms of catering, home care, childcare, etc. But those are also really good industries to be in anyway. And I don't think they're mainly female-populated out of any other reason than culture. I mean, in England, one of the best nursery school owners I know, he owns loads of them, is a Ghanaian man.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. So I think in Ghana, it's just very normal that women will be doing certain things, and that's why they have those businesses.
They have those businesses.
Yeah, I don't think they're like especially special at doing them.
I don't know if there are statistics to back any of this, but who's likely to start a business, a man or a woman?
Well, actually, I think that women are more likely to start businesses because culturally, again, if you look at the space, our families want to push the men into school, education, to have great jobs. And then, not so often, unfortunately, for girls all over the country. But once they're in a relationship and once they're comfortable, they've had children, women get to the space, if they're not in a busy job, or even if they are, where they say, I need to do something for myself. And that's usually going to be a business because it's the easiest thing to do. It'll be much harder for someone who doesn't have the right qualifications, who's got a lot of childcare responsibilities, a lot of family home responsibilities, to be able to take on a big executive role. It just is much harder, especially if they haven't been doing that their whole lives. So normally they'll go into small businesses, and then they have such a good knowledge of the space because they've been a parent in the space, they know other parents, they know how everything happens. So when they create a product, it instantly usually is built for that space. So that's why I would say usually women. But that doesn't mean that the women-owned businesses succeed or last longer. A lot of women are hobbyists in terms of entrepreneurship. They want to run this business for now. When they don't want to run that business anymore, they change their minds. Whereas men are more usually to try and stick to it because of pride and other, again, cultural perceptions about changing minds and changing businesses.
For women, could it also be that because of marriage, let's say, for instance, marriage sort of throws them off a bit, it makes them go off their businesses to start focusing on family and...
No, I wouldn't say that because, in Ghana, I've also found the most supportive husbands to female entrepreneurs, if I'm very honest. Maybe multiple motives. Maybe they just want us to keep busy. Or like just go away from them or something. But really a lot more support. I find that Ghanaian men are quite... when they're good, they're very good at facilitating their other halves into businesses. But that's in any culture. Marriage would and should really slow down both parties because you have a new life commitment that you have to invest in. And that usually takes a bit of adjustment time, right? But all in all, everyone knows a good family business means good revenue for the family. It means in a pandemic we're sorted. It means if one of us gets sick, we're sorted. So it's more about scalability. Yes, I wouldn't say marriage necessarily slows down women's ability to be in business. I think it should naturally slow down everyone's ability to do what they did before because there's a brand new commitment in the world that they have to live up to.
I have lots of basic questions for you, but let me go back to the business owners. Now let's talk about the very basic in starting a business. Now you have your passion, you have your idea, you have your excitement. I want to do this. Capital. For the many people sitting watching us out there, they're wondering, okay, look, they say we should start business. They say we should do this. Where am I going to get the capital from? Where did you get your capital from, if you don't mind me asking?
Well,
and how much did you need?
I don't think you need any big capital to start this business. I think before you even enter any business, you should look around you, what you feel comfortable doing, what interests you. That's what pushes you more. So let's say growing up, it's always been trading, selling this, selling that, and it's something I personally loved. I love doing that so much. So I feel starting up this business, I don't need much capital. I don't have to wait for anybody to come and give me this sum of money before I start it. So let's say I start advertising more. I draw closer to somebody who is already in the industry, somebody who is selling what I have interest in. I talk to the person, oh, please, I would like to also sell this. Can you share with me some of your images so that I'll be advertising on social media? Because, we all build from stats on our WhatsApp statuses before you go up Instagram. Instagram, so due to the scamming issue, you don't get a lot of trust instantly, but you start building. So drawing closer to someone who is already there, you use their images,
and they willingly share it with you?
Oh, yeah.
Willingly?
It depends on how you approach the person. I've been in that situation.
Someone asked you for your stuff and you gave it to them?
No, I started by going to the person, this vendor, that I would like to share some of your images. This is what I want to also sell. So she will give me the packages. She'll give me the images. I share when I get an order. I send her the money. I add some profit, and I resell. And it got to a time she was willing for me to come over so that she would teach me how she wrapped the items. You see, so you don't necessarily need any big capital. So the amount of money you are getting from the pre-ordered packages, use that amount to start. People go in for what they see. The more you advertise, the more they demand. Some people be like me now, you post too much on your status. That's what brings me the orders. If I post less, I don't get orders.
Interesting.
Exactly.
And Amma, did you get any kind of help in terms of capital?
My business, yeah. That's it. I think I was actually doing it on campus. I had a few stuff to start with. But then after school, I had to now make it a bit bigger. So I used my very last NSS allowance, right?
Wow.
And then I had a little support, obviously, to, get more stuff. But then I personally believe in flowing back your profits into the business, because you can't spend your profits at the early beginning of your, starting a business or any kind of thing like that. So the more I work, the more money I get as profit for myself, the more I invest, buy more stuff to make the business look good and lucrative. So, capital from the beginning wasn't really an issue because I devised that strategy of flowing back my profits into the business. So I think it's been good because myself, I'm that kind of person that going for a loan is a no-no for me. Because I'm so scared of owing or having to pay back debt, that kind of thing, no. So the whole idea of always keeping my profit back in the business. And I started this thing, I think, way back in 2016 on campus. But I made it like business, I think after school, that was like 2018. And it's been all good. I've really not sourced for any third party or outside kind of funds. It's just been the business growing and growing in between with its profit. So I personally feel it depends on the kind of job you want to venture into. But some people would obviously need help, like what my other lady said. Sometimes you don't need physical cash to start a business. You just need the right mindset and the kind of people around you to, pull things through. Because there are some businesses that obviously you can just take pictures like, she mentioned, and then post it out there. Once you get demand for it, you just probably go to the seller or the manufacturer or whoever, secure the item, and then add your own profits or bits to it and sell. So the whole capital thing, I think it has been an issue because most people actually sit back and they feel like I don't have money or I don't have enough to start a business. But trust me, if you want to do it, you definitely find a way to do it, with or without the money. Yeah.
It's very interesting, and I can buttress what you just said. I was going through my status yesterday, And as I have a friend from campus, and she had posted a video of my colleague MFA in a particular dress. You know, MFA likes to take these reels after work, you know, and post them. And she had posted, and she had written the price of the outfit she was wearing. And I wanted to ask her, I said, you know what, let me just keep quiet. Because I'm like, how do you know the price of this outfit? You don't even know where she got it from. You know, so she's sort of like, you know, I'm advertising this. If you want this, I can make it for you. So that's very, very interesting. What do you think, Nana, what are some of the common mistakes you think entrepreneurs make beyond, you know, spending the profits during the early stages of the business? What are some of the common mistakes you think some entrepreneurs make? And what are some of the things you have learned as you started?
Okay. I feel most entrepreneurs, when they start their business, right from the onset, they want to make profits. They want to make money. They want to start, enjoying whatever it is they are putting in their business. And I personally feel it's not wrong to, enjoy whatever benefit you are reaping from your business. But it can't be at the early stage of your business, especially when you know you do not have so much funds or capital to continue if you need to probably be spending your profit. And I also personally feel like most people, they fail to devise a plan on how to sustain the business financially. Because at the end of the day, if sustainability should not, is not your main focus, because you can start the business all right. It's so easy for anyone to come up with an idea, get the funds and start a business. But sustaining it and keeping the business on track for as long as you want it to is the most important thing. And I feel like most Ghanaian startups or most young people or people trying to start a business, their main issue has to do with sustainability because people don't become consistent. People are more focused on what they are probably getting from the business as to how consistent they are, how they are probably keeping their clientele, how they are probably making sure that the business is on track with its vision and mission in play. No, people are most often, I think because of how economically things are tough for people, once they start the business, they want to start realizing their profits. And I think it's sort of been a major challenge.
Interesting. Olivia, you have something to add to that? Some of the problems. What did you discover as you started the business? Some mistakes you made that you can share with us to avoid us making similar mistakes?
Well, as my sister said, I think most of the challenges come up when you don't have interest in what you are doing. Maybe you are only working towards profits. It's only the profit that is going to interest. You know, some people will be like,
is that bad to just want to focus on profits?
Well, I mean,
it's very bad.
The thing is, if you're not providing value, it'll be obvious you just want the money. That's the problem. It's not about wanting the money. It's about, for example, in her catering, if she doesn't make sure the food actually tastes nice, she just wants the money. I think that's what you're referring to, right?
Exactly. So I think the love for the job, the passion should be there. You understand? The love and the touches you add to the packages you produce should speak for itself. You understand?
So people should pay particular attention to their product.
Packaging, the branding. Exactly. The brand is what is going to sell.
I know, let's say Gary doesn't advertise, but it always sells. You know, I mean, who is
Gary
packaging Gary? It's just there. You go and buy, and you don't care which shop it's in. You just go there and meet Gary, and you get to Gary and go. Why do I need to pay so much attention to value? And I mean, I'm starting a business. You know what? I want to sell. Let's say my guys here. I want to sell. What can I sell? What can I sell in this office? What do you guys want in this office? I want to say, let's say, what?
I want a Lamborghini.
Oh, my goodness. A Lamborghini. Let's say I want to sell outfits to the ladies. To the ladies here. I mean, once it will look good on them, that's all that matters, isn't it?
Exactly, but that's what you need to care about.
The value.
How it looks good, like what makes it look good.
The quality.
Exactly, the quality. When you look at someone, they order something, you'll be able to guess or understand if this outfit will look good on their shape, if this color will make their skin really pop. Or, you know, that I guess that's the kind of thing my tailor tells me about. She'll say, no, that won't look good because it will do this, or because of where your shoulders are. No, we need to do it like this. Same outfit, but then she'll make the tweaks as necessary and even tell me about them before she's done them.
Have you ordered or patronized anything that has been consistently wrong? If it's food, it didn't taste good 3 times. You just went to the same place like, nah, it's not good. Or let's say even an outfit you bought for a person and it just didn't,
back.
Yeah.
Are you asking if I would keep going back?
I mean, no, but have you patronized, and it's wrong 3 consecutive times?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
What made you go back the second time?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I was asking if you mean go back. Sometimes it's not intentional. So,
a bad hairdo, something.
right, exactly. In fact, speaking of, I'm joking. No, look, there's 3 types of value, right? There's intrinsic value, is the ability for the thing to do what it's supposed to do. So you're talking about it being bad. Financial value, which is the price, and the value, your personal values, which is what you connect to the item. A lot of times we'll go back because either the personal value is there or the financial value is right? So we've talked about Gary. People always buy Gary. Gary's always the right price. If it's not the right price, no one's buying it. And you've got personal connection to Gary because you have all the different ways you like your Gary. Which means if, in the terms of intrinsic, if the Gary doesn't taste nice from this place, you're not going to abandon Gary. You're just going to think maybe it was this place. But if you really want the Gary bad enough, then you'll question maybe it was just a bad day, right? Then you go back. And that's, I think, how people go back. But how people lose businesses forever is when they've gone back once, twice, 3 times. And you notice that intrinsic value is not there. It doesn't taste the way it's supposed to taste. The outfit doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. The zip keeps breaking. My hair never looks nice. Then you lose the customer. And that's why her point about being interested in the process, the manufacturing process, the creation process, the selling process, and even a lot of times the feedback process. So many entrepreneurs don't want to know from their customers, how did you like it? How did it go? Because they know it went bad. Because they didn't prepare for a good feedback. So they're not excited to ask for that feedback. So that whole process she's talking about is what's important. And it doesn't mean it's not important to care about money. Of course you care about money, that's why you're doing it. But you're pricing in your effort into that space. But you're also remembering that what people are buying is the value, not the item. They're buying the experience. They're buying you. It might be your cake, but it's your cake and things like that. So, yeah, that's why I go back. I go back because sometimes I'm buying your cake or your this. And I hope that it was a bad day.
I hope it was a bad day. We're still talking about MSMEs. And one of the problems or the challenges I've heard a lot of people talk about is the fact that when it comes to Ghanaian businesses, we never scale up. We don't scale up. We are at the same level. Same level for a long time, and before you see the business collapses, they compare us to the Lebanese, the Italians, the folks who come here, set up one shop. Before you see, they have about 20 all over the country. When it comes to Ghanaian businesses, they are known for years. You know that bean seller, her mother sold beans, she's selling beans, her daughter will come and sell the beans, but they are in the same place. And one of the problems that have been attributed to that is partnership. So, Tanisha, before you touch on this, I'd like to ask you, you started with your sister, like you said, so at least there was some form of partnership. But beyond your sister, if I came along and I said, I like this thing you're doing, I have about 30,000 Ghana cedis there that I think I want to add to what we're doing, are you willing to put me on board?
Well, I've had people approach me on investment base, but I think every business brand needs some point in time before they could welcome in investors. And I feel at a point I don't need that right now because I want to give myself some time. Because whatever you welcome into your business could have a positive and its negative side. So I feel you just have to think about it and know you are ready for what you are going into.
And now, do you share the same sentiment?
I think calling in for investors, like she's saying, it probably some people would want the investors from the early stage of their business, which is okay because probably within their plan they would need that. But myself, I think I was new in Accra, so after a couple of times, I reached out to some friends that I thought if I should get them on board, it would help. But the kind of feedback I got from them, I just had to stay in my corner and make things work. But I think at a point I realized what you are doing is being seen, obviously. And we have some freelance investors that they just scout for businesses to invest in. So I'm not too bothered, or I'm open for investors, because at a point in your business, when it's a sole proprietor kind of thing, sometimes you become a bit reluctant. But when there are people, there's a board being created, there are people who are probably seeing that the business is growing because they have, they are stakeholders in it who need to ensure that their dividends are being yielded or anything of that sort. Then the business becomes like a continual kind of thing. Because, that kind of one-headed kind of business, once the owner is a bit off or relaxed, the business also begins sort of dwindle in a way. So I'm open to investors because I personally feel they help the continuity of the business group.
Interesting. Tanisha?
In terms of investment, yeah, I think so, definitely. But I agree with you. It's important to know when you're bringing any new energy into the space. Again, going into an investment relationship just because you want the money is not always the best. A lot of, there's angel investors who actually not just give money, but they give time, and they usually only get their payout at an exit point. They're mostly there to give you tips, advice, open the door. So there's other types of investment. If someone's like, look, I want to put this money in, how long do you think it's going to take to get my money back? And you don't feel ready to be rushed financially in that way because you're still working on enhancing the business, then you probably want to go the route of an angel investor. But, I guess, it depends on the nature of the business. It depends on if it's a need. Sometimes having too much money actually slows down creativity and productivity because the investor comes in and they kind of save the day and all you have to do is work. And you think in an ideal scenario that will help you work. But actually, some entrepreneurs really need strive and hunger to build to a certain level. And rescuing them too early is not good for them.
Right. I mean, I get this part. I think what I'm looking at has to do with feeling like you own your business with someone. For instance, a young film creator, let's say I'm a young film creator, knowing very well that if I partnered with Ziggy, who's a cameraman, I don't have cameras, he probably has cameras, and maybe this young man here who probably is good with sound and all that, we can start something and we could, but I want it to be my business, so I want to have everything and start it on my own, so I don't want any form of partnership.
Yeah, that's a real big thing in Ghana, and it does starve a lot of businesses in terms of not wanting partnership. But partnership is not the only way to scale, because once the thing with scaling and scalability is it doesn't happen in a space where processes aren't recorded. So, for example, if I have a new employee and it's not easy for that new employee to learn about how we do this, how we do that, it's difficult to scale. So it means it's difficult to open a new branch. It's difficult to train new managers. It's difficult to open in a new country. And just because you add a partner in doesn't make it any easier. Because if that partner has the same limitations as you, they also can't go to a new country to open for you. So having a partnership is really important, like you mentioned, yes. And Ghanaians really are quite against the concept of partnership. In fact, any sharing. However, that is usually what I find is because they're worried someone's going to steal their idea or steal their business, which is not humanly possible. It's not humanly possible. Even if someone stole your patent, the way they distribute it would be very different. And also, there's not enough pure water sellers on the road. There's not enough people that sell Gary. No, there is not. There are still people who are thirsty. There's still people who have to travel a little bit for water. So there's not enough. There's not enough water sellers. So if there's not enough people selling water, there's definitely not enough people selling whatever you sell. So I think that when it comes to that, it's more of this mindset of if everybody's doing it, then I won't be able to do it. But actually, you are supposed to do it. We're all supposed to be doing multiple things. And I think once people start to realize that there is value in more businesses doing similar things, because what it does is it shapes the market, right? So if you think about the female tailor that makes only kaftans for women, how many female tailors make kaftans for women? Probably not enough. So right now, there'll be 2 or 3 really big ones in everyone's head. But that means that there's a lot of women who are not able to wear kaftans because they don't know those 3 women. And those 3 women price them out of the market. So the more women sell kaftans and make kaftans only for women, the more women wearing kaftans becomes fashionable.
Yeah.
The more is happening nationwide.
Shaping the market. Like
shaping the market. Then it becomes an exportable item. They're on the cover of Vogue. But when that one person's like, oh, I'm the only one, I want to keep it to myself, then they starve their own market. And by default, when they're sick or they're out of business for a while, the women who used to wear the kaftans decide, no, I wear a dress now.
I like the perspective so much. It's very interesting because that was my next question to the entrepreneurs, and ask them how they deal with competition. Now, a lot of people I know who haven't been able to start their businesses because they said the same thing, like, oh, I want to create a custom website. Then I just realized that somebody has created, somebody has done it. Oh, I want to start a kitchen service, but some girl be in my next room is doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Did you ever face that challenge where you felt like, this friend of mine is doing the same thing? If I start right now, she would say that, oh, because she's seen that my business is successful, she wants to do the same thing and compete with me. Have you ever? Well,
not really. Not really, but I feel people in my circle probably felt that way. And one thing I always say is the industry is so wide. At the end of the day, everyone is going to make their share of whatever trade you are into. So I feel it's good to come together as vendors. The more we come together, the more we unite, the higher the brand sell, the higher we get connected, Like a whole lot happens when we are together as a vendor, as vendors. Sorry.
You don't feel.
I don't think there's any room for competition. It's not relevant. It's not important.
It's a
We don't
competitive
need
space,
that
isn't it?
right now.
So see, with the Ladies Entrepreneurship Club, we have 3 pillars, right? It's connect, learn, and exchange value. Because exactly what she said is true. The more vendors, entrepreneurs, executives, whatever, the more people in one space, the more thinking happens, the more masterminding. You learn from someone else's mistakes. You learn from everyone else's strategies. You are able to even test out your thoughts on them. Your easy access to finance and all of these things, because you have people who are trying, right? And therefore growth is inevitable. So I totally agree with her. The at the top, the only way to deal with competition is through collaboration. So there's no way around it. And you'll find most of the big companies collaborate. For example, we think that there's a battle between Adidas and Puma, but they're brothers.
Yeah.
Exactly. We were once one, then they both decided to just do the same thing. They both are doing the same thing, and we buy both, or we like both.
Puma started as a result because he had some challenges with his brother.
Yes.
He was managing the finances, and then he decided, no, I'm going to start my own.
Exactly, my own, same thing. Different logo, but it's the same thing.
Well, okay. I was going to ask something. Okay, so what has been your biggest challenge so far as an entrepreneur?
I'll say one has to do with location. I think most of my customers were within a particular parts where I had to produce for them, but relocating affected me a bit. But moving forward, I sorted out things and I came back.
With your kind of business, do you need an actual structure, a location?
Not necessarily. You can work from home. Yes, you can work from home.
Nama?
Yes.
Your biggest challenge?
I'm here. Oh, I think my biggest challenge has to do with creating a team, like a formidable team in Ghana here to work with. It's tough. I think, that's been my biggest challenge, because most people, they would want to be with you, but I feel it's kind of difficult when you don't have people who is probably on the same show with you, trying to get your things done. And working with the Ghanaian youth is actually very tough, very, very tough. And I think my challenge has to do with creating a team. Yeah.
Okay, and well, perhaps coming to the end of our conversation, what have you learned as a businesswoman in running your business? What has been your biggest lesson, Nanama?
I think my biggest lesson is at every point you need to make sacrifices, because you can't get everything through and through. And the business stage, every level comes with its own challenges and sacrifices that you need to make. At your startup stage, there's a challenge and a sacrifice you have to make, because you can't have everything through and through. And then I feel like acceptance is also one, because I feel like most Ghanaians, it was quite tough for our kind of business to be accepted by Ghanaians, because they feel like this thing, it's probably sold at this kind of price elsewhere. And then, all of a sudden you pop up and that kind of price and is a little bit too high. But most people actually forget you probably pay people, you rent space, you pay taxes, you pay government kind of regulations and all that. So the kind of challenge we face, or I face, is sometimes quite battling. But I personally feel I can't do much about it. I can only sort of analyze my environment and see how best I can deal with my challenges and take advantage of them actually. Yeah.
And if some young person out there is thinking of starting a business, what would you tell them, Wilhelmina?
Well, I'll tell you to do you, come all out, start wherever you are. Don't look for any big sum of money to start whatever it is. Look around you. There's surely something out there you love to do, something you can produce that will sell more. Do not think of probably you have A in your life, A is selling clothes, so naturally you should also sell clothes. No. Look around you, what interests you. Maybe you are very good when it comes to skincare. Maybe you are very good when it comes to hair. Get someone who is producing hair. Get someone who is producing what you love. get closer to them, talk to them. I'll love to also do this, do that. Do not scare, do not be shy or anything. Just draw closer to them and then tell them, share your ideas. They will come all out. But don't sit back and then go to their social media, take screenshots of their post unexpectedly. Then you start sharing that I am selling hair. You don't know anything about it. So get to know a lot. Very true. So get to know a lot about what interests you. Okay, you don't need any big sum of money to start. I didn't start that way. So just approach whoever is doing what you think will sell for you, and then start going. You can do it.
What about the price of raw materials now?
My brother, it hasn't been easy.
Can you imagine?
It hasn't been easy because if I'm selling this package for 300 cedis, I think sometimes you just have to go more with sacrifices, like my sister said earlier. You don't have to think about the profit, because there are times I produce packages, I make zero profit. But if you come and you order same thing, I go all out. I do with so much love. I am doing so because the next clients that could come and then opt for same thing might pay more. And I don't have a problem going low when it comes to producing for my clients at all. Yes.
See why we love entrepreneurs. Out there.
We can all do it. We can all do it.
Are you accepting men into your ladies entrepreneurship
Yeah,
club?
we do,
of course.
Yeah, of course. We love having men around.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
part of...
No. She meant in general.
Yeah, in
But
general.
we have no problem with
Do you have men? Do you have men
What,
in
in the
there?
club?
Yeah.
No, it's a ladies entrepreneurship club, but whenever we have events, like the event coming up on Saturday is about AI and entrepreneurship, and
So-
literally about 10 men, 10 different calls
See, because
from
it's
men
AI.
Wow.
saying, so can men come to this event? Of course men can come. But we are starting a gents entrepreneurship club next year. But for the last 2 years, we've been focused on building up that ladies entrepreneurship club, like you mentioned, focusing on something until you know it's ready. And we're at a really good space now where there's so many women that they're really doing that whole connecting and exchanging value thing with each other so well that, yes, by January there will be a gents club for the men.
Amen.
But for now, you just have to join us at our events.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. How do we follow you guys?
So if you go to ladiesentrepreneurshipclub.com, we have an event coming up on Saturday in Airport for AI, like I said. And on Instagram, just look up Ladies Entrepreneurship Club.
Great. Your business, how do we patronize it?
Well, you can find us on all social media handles: Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat at EasyGrabGH. We are always available to serve you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, on Facebook at _ the Ghanaian Bar. And then I think, there are so many links directly linking to our website. So in case you want to book us or patronize any of our stuff, you can use our handle or our contacts, please.
Nana, thank you very much. Happy MSME's Day, if there's anything like that. Thank you very much. Nana, Wilmina, Tanisha Tego, thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Did you bring us something? Nothing. We will not allow this to happen. We'll follow you. Anyways, that's about it for our conversation on MSME's Day. It's Tuesday, Miss Drew is traveling the world. She went to Togo and she brings you these excerpts. Stay.